Thank you for joining me for practice this morning. Let's come into an easy seated position and close our eyes, coming to a focus on our breath and how we're feeling this morning. Feeling your natural state of breathing. And then on your next exhale, breathe in a little deeper, expanding the rib cage. Maybe feeling the side ribs expanding or the ribs in the back. And on your exhale, completely releasing from the belly. Having an equal count of inhales to exhales. Probably somewhere around 4 to 6 count. Relaxing any tension that may be at the temples, at your jaw, the neck or shoulders, the hips, knees, the feet and ankles. Maybe bringing an attention to your practice this morning. Let's come sing our spine up straight and long. Inhaling, the arms come up. Exhale, bring your right hand down. Left arm reaches over to the right. Lifting the chest a little. Exhale, come back to center. Both arms overhead. Exhaling, bring the left hand over to the left, right arm reaching over to that left side. Bringing both arms up again. Exhaling, twisting this time to the right. Bringing your left hand onto your right knee. Right arm is behind you. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhale, bringing the arms overhead again. Exhaling, twisting to the left. Right hand is on the left knee. Inhaling, both arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands in front of you and just walk them forward. And we're walking back. And let's come up onto our hands and knees. And separating the knees wide apart, toes come together. And just bring the hips back, coming into a child's pose. And you can have your hands pressed into the mat or just relax them down, resting on your forearms. Just keep pulling those hips back to the heels. And let's come back onto our hands and knees. Hands can be over the shoulders. And the knees are under the hips. And let's inhale, lifting up that chest, lifting up the tailbone, coming into our cat-cows. Starting with their cat on our inhale, or our cow. Exhaling, pulling that belly under, pressing your hands into the mat, into our cat position. Inhale, lifting that tailbone up. And the last thing to rise is the head. Exhaling, tucking the hips under, scooping the belly, pressing the hands into the mat. Inhaling, lifting those hips up, lifting the chest. Just do this a couple more times with your own breath. Exhaling, scooping the belly under. And on your inhale, lifting the chest. Bringing those shoulder blades down the back. Let's do one more round. And coming back to center. Let's take that right leg behind you, pressing into the heel. Noticing that your hips are still aligned, just as they were with both knees down. We're not popping that right hip up. Stretching into that calf muscle. And then lift up that leg and lifting up the left arm. And let's open it up so your right leg is all the way out by your right hand. And you can go ahead and plant that left hand again. Just bring the hips back for a nice stretch in the inner thigh, right side. And your toes can be planted or pointed up, whatever feels good to you this morning. Keep pulling that left hip back toward the left heels. Coming forward, lifting that right leg up, bringing it all the way back around. Back onto our knee. Let's do that on the opposite side. Reaching the left leg out behind you, stretching the calf. Again, noticing the hip alignment. Now lifting up that left leg. And you can just look down and make sure your toes are pointed downward toward the mat. And lifting up that right arm. Finding our balance here. Your right toes can be tucked or flat, whatever works for you. And let's open it up. And so the left foot is outside of the left hand, pulling the hips back. Bringing that right hip to the right heel. And then coming back, lifting up that left leg and bringing it all the way back. Coming back onto our hands and knees. Let's bring our hands up one hand print and press up into a down dog. And you can pedal your feet out here or sway the hips. Find any movement that speaks to you this morning, whatever feels good. I'm staying here for a couple more breaths. Let's inhale up the right leg, keeping it nice and long, lifting it as high as you can, and then open that hip up, bringing the knee to the ceiling. On your exhale, let's bring that right foot forward and come down on the back knee. Just hold here for a moment. Let's shift the weight back and inhale the arms and chest up. Let's take a hold of our left wrist and just bend over to the right, stretching the left side body. And let's take the opposite. So holding onto the right wrist, leaning over to the left. Coming back to center. Hands come to the mat. Let's bring the hips back for a half splits stretch. And almost dragging that right hip and heel back behind you as you fold over the right shin. Toes coming closer to the face. So the foot is flexed. And then coming forward, stepping back into a plank, and then down dog. Inhale, lifting up that left leg now. As high as you can get it, allowing your right heel to sink down into the mat. And then open that hip. Bringing the knee to the ceiling. But keeping your weight equal in your hands. On your exhale, let's bring that left foot forward. Dropping the back knee. Holding here for a moment. And then start to shift the weight back. Inhaling, lifting the arms and chest as you press into that left foot. Now grabbing that right wrist, leaning over to the left side and stretching the right side body. Coming back to center, switching hands, holding onto the left wrist. Reaching over to the right. Coming back to center. Hands come down to the mat. Bringing those hips back for the half split on the left side now. Inhale, lifting that chest up a little bit, and then exhaling, folding a little deeper over that left shin as you bring the toes closer to your face. And keep pulling that hip back. And coming forward onto our hands for a plank. Holding here for a moment. Exhale, come to a down dog. Let's bend into the knees. And you can either step or hop forward to the front of the mat. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Bending your knees as much as you may need to. Inhale, come all the way up. Palms meeting. Exhale, hands come to the side. And just notice how your legs and hips, they're all waking up. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Lifting those hips up higher. Noticing the balance in your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Thinking of our cat-cows, bringing those shoulder blades down, lifting that chest. Exhale. Let's step that right foot back. Inhale up for a high lunge or low lunge. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Then we're going to inhale up the left arm, twisting. Exhale, hand comes down. Let's come back into a half split. Pulling the hips back. Folding over that left shin with the feet flexed. And then coming forward, stepping into a plank. And this time, let's lower all the way down. Bringing our legs out long, pressing into the tops of the feet. Inhale up for a cobra. And then on the first round, let's see if you can just lift up using the back muscles alone. Hands come off the mat. Exhale, coming down. And this time, let's inhale with the back and then press into the hands, keeping your hips on the mat, not lifting too high. Exhale, come back down. Press up into a down dog. Let's step that right foot forward, dropping the back knee. Inhale up, lifting the chest, pressing to that right foot. Exhale, hands come to the mat. And let's open up on that right side. Twisting, lifting that right arm up. Exhale, hand comes back down to the mat. Pulling the hips back for the half splits over the right leg now. And shifting the weight forward. Hands come to the mat, stepping back into plank. And let's lower all the way down again. Legs are out long. And then inhale up, lifting into our cobra. Keep lifting on your inhales. Exhale, coming down. Let's do that again. Inhale, lifting, and then press into the hands. Keeping the glutes relaxed. Just lengthening that spine right out of the hips. Exhale, coming down. And tucking the toes and coming back up into a down dog. And travel to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lifting that tailbone and that chest. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Stepping that right foot back behind you, and then inhale, lifting the chest up. Now we're in our high crescent lunge. Pulling that right hip forward, bending to the front knee, making sure it stays over the ankle. Don't let it bow in or move too far forward. So exhale, bringing the chest to the thigh. Start pressing your weight into that left leg. And then come into a warrior three. And then step that right foot just below you. And now we are in a chair. Inhaling the arms up. On your exhale, stepping that left foot back. Inhaling the arms up. In a crescent high lunge. On the opposite side now. Pulling the left hip forward as you bend into that right knee. Exhaling, bring the chest down to the thigh. Start shifting your weight into that leg and then lift off for our warrior three. And stepping the left foot down next to the right. Inhale up, chair. And bring the arms down. Pausing for a moment, noticing your breath. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, stepping back with that right foot. Your hands can be on your hips. Or you can bring them overhead. And let's open up for a warrior two. Adjusting your alignment as needed. Making sure you can see your big toe of the left foot. Pressing into those feet. Shoulders are down. Core is engaged. Keep lifting in that back, lifting that spine, and lowering the hips. Let's take a reverse warrior. Making sure your hand placement is not on your knee with your right arm. It's either taking a bind like I am, or above or below the knee. And come back up to your warrior two. And let's pivot back onto our back toes. Exhale, chest comes back to that thigh, and then lift up for that warrior three. And drop that right foot. Inhale up for a chair. And come to standing. Now stepping that left foot back into our high lunge. Your next exhale, let's open up for a warrior two. Gazing out at your right fingertips. Keep pressing into those feet. Let's come into our reverse warrior. Coming back to our warrior two. And then pivot back onto those left toes for our high lunge. Lowering the chest over the thigh. And then coming into our warrior three. Keeping those hips square to the mat. Planting that left foot. Inhale up for a chair. And then come to release that, straightening the legs, arms down by the sides. Noticing the breath. Let's add on to that. Bending down into our chair. Stepping that right foot back. Open up, warrior two. Reverse warrior. Lifting that heart up. And keep bending to that knee, making sure it's not caving in. Back to your warrior two. And this time let's straighten that front leg. And come into a triangle. So you pull those right hips back, pull the hips back, and then just tip over your front leg. Lengthening the spine again. Taking a slight twist. Your hand placement can be on your shin, your ankle, your foot. You may be able to grab your big toe, or you can place it on the inside or the outside of that foot. And just keep pressing into those legs. And the less weight that you put into that bottom hand, the more core work you could do. So you could have both hands actually up. Let's come back up, back into our warrior. And pivot back onto the toes. Inhale, lifting that chest up. And then on your exhale, folding over that thigh, pressing up to that warrior three. And then bring that right foot forward. Inhale up for our chair. Exhale, stepping back, coming into a high lunge. Open up, warrior two. And come into that reverse warrior. Keep breathing. Open back up to the warrior two. And straighten that front leg. Pull the hips back as you reach your hand forward. And then just lean down, coming into your triangle. Keep pressing into those feet. Reach that left arm a little higher. Inhale, coming up, back into your warrior two. And pivot onto those toes. Back into our high lunge. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Come out of the lower back. Exhaling, folding over that thigh. And then coming into our warrior three. Having a little up dog in your chest. And then step that left foot forward. Inhale up for chair. And release. Let's go through that series one more time, adding on. Bringing awareness to our breath first. And coming down into a chair. Inhale, the arms are up. You can also cactus them out if your shoulders are tight today. And then step that right foot back. Pressing into those feet, pressing into the whole front foot, pressing into the ball of the back foot, and the heel. Open up for your warrior two. Coming into our reverse warrior. And then back into our warrior two. Straightening that front leg. Let's come into our triangle. Pulling those hips back as we tilt down. We're reaching that right arm up higher. Inhale, coming back up into our warrior two. And from here, let's bring our hands to our heart and straighten that front leg and start to shift your weight into the right leg, the back, coming into Skandasana. Gazing at your left toes, and you can have your hands on the mat or hands at heart, or even take a bind. And then press into that left foot, coming back into our warrior two. And then let's come into an extended front angle. Press on the outer edge of that back foot. You can also bring your foot all the way down to the mat, depending on what's working for you this morning. Let's come back up to our warrior two. And back onto those back toes. Inhale, reaching the chest up. And then exhale, folding over that thigh, pressing up into our warrior three. And planting that right foot. Inhale up for chair. Exhale, stepping that left foot back. Coming back into our high lunge one more time. Open up, warrior two. Reverse warrior. Back to our warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Pull the hips back as you reach forward. And then tip down into our triangle. And keep breathing. And creating more space in the body with our inhales and exhales. Finding length on our inhales. Finding flexibility on our exhales. Let's inhale up, back into our warrior. And bringing the hands to the heart, straightening that right leg and shifting the weight into the left. Gazing at our left toes. Pressing up into that right foot, back into our warrior two. And then coming into our extended side angle. And the hand or forearm can be on the right thigh, or you can try to plant it on the mat, either inside or outside of the foot. And keep opening that chest up. Pressing into the feet, not dumping your weight into the upper body. And then press up into your warrior two. And pivot onto those back toes. Exhale, bringing the chest to the thigh, lifting up for our warrior three. And then stepping forward, coming back into our chair, and standing. Pausing, finding our breath. Let's step back with our right foot, lifting the chest up. Toes are pointed toward the long edge of the mat. Inhaling, lifting out of that spine. Finding our hip bones with our hands. Exhaling, folding right at the hips. Coming halfway. Pausing. Exhaling, folding all the way forward. Maybe walking the hands between the feet. Pressing those thighs back. Shifting those the hips up higher. And let's start to walk the hands out. Let's bring the left hand straight under our face, centering it. Then inhale, lifting up that right arm. A nice twist. Exhale, bring the hand down. And then switch sides. Inhaling, lifting the left arm. Exhale, bring that hand down. And from here, let's shift our weight over to the right. Coming back in sort of a Skandasana. And see if you can take your left hand, hold on to your left ankle. And then switching sides, and let's keep it low as we shift over. And then taking your right hand onto your right ankle. And shifting it back to center, and then lift the hips back up. Hands on our hips. Inhale, coming all the way up. And stepping forward to the front of the mat. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. And let's step back into plank. And then down dog. And from here, let's come down onto the forearms for a dolphin pose. Maybe walk the feet in. Inhale, lifting one leg. Keep pressing into the forearms, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, bring that leg down. Let's switch. Inhaling, lifting the opposite leg. Exhale, bring it down. And let's come into a child's pose. Coming back onto our hands and knees. Let's roll over, coming into a seated position. Let's take our right foot and have a fist width between our left thigh and our right foot. Inhale, lifting up the left arm, and on our exhale, twisting over to the right. Keeping that left leg engaged. So the toes are pointing up. Kneecap is lifted. Thighs pressing into the mat. Keep inhaling, lifting the chest. Lengthening the spine. And release this. Let's do that on the opposite side. Left foot comes in. We've got a fist width between the foot and the thigh. Inhaling up, reaching high with that right arm, and then exhaling, twisting over to the left. Keeping that right leg active. Pressing out of the heel of the foot. Coming back to center, releasing. Let's bring our feet toward us. We'll take a couple of boat poses. So we'll start right here. Noticing engagement in the belly. And then release. And notice how the core releases when the legs release. We'll bring our feet up again. This time, let's lift up our feet. And then let's try lifting up the hands. And release. Trying that again. Back onto the toes, lifting the feet, lifting the hands, holding. Then let's lower down for a low boat. Keeping the lower back planted. Inhale up, high boat. Lower down, low boat. And come back up for a high boat. Maybe straighten the legs. And then plant the feet. Let's do that one more time. Coming onto the feet. And lifting them up. And lifting up the arms. Keeping the spine straight and long. Not caving in. Then come to a low boat. High boat. Straighten the legs. Lower one leg. Switch legs. Keep them both up. Low boat. High boat. And then release. Let's bring our legs out long. Planting our hands into the floor. Pressing the thighs into the mat. And then walk yourself forward into a fold on your exhale. You can grab onto your big toes or your ankles. Maybe take a bind. And walk your hands back. Let's come onto our backs. And bring your feet out wide. Knees together. Just a restorative pose. From just doing that, forward fold. Releasing the back. And then bring your feet a little closer, hip width apart, and be able to touch the heels. And then start to press into your feet, lifting your hips up. You can take a bind with your hands underneath for our bridge, or just keep them flat. Keep pressing into the feet. This is a leg work pose. Holding here, squeezing those glutes for a little more lift. Exhale, coming all the way down. Bringing those feet out wide again, knees together. Let's start to windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Then come into an inversion of your choice. It could be waterfall. Just bringing the feet up, overhead, over the hips. Or maybe a shoulder stand, or even a headstand. Bring the knees down and the legs down. Actually, let's bring the knees back into the chest one more time. Take a nice squeeze. Then on your exhale, bring your arms out wide, dropping the knees to one side. Inhale the knees up, exhaling, dropping them to the opposite. Inhale, bringing them up again. Coming into a full body stretch. And then exhale, bringing the hands down by your sides. Coming into our final pose of Shavasana. And staying in your final resting pose as long as you have time for, before finally finding movement and awareness to your hands and feet, arms and legs, and then bringing your knees in and rolling to one side. When you come into a seated position, closing the eyes, becoming aware of how you feel right now, and having gratitude for yourself for taking time to take care of you and for your body serving you in all the ways that it does every day. Bringing the hands to the heart and bowing to the light. Namaste.